From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 15th, 2019. Palestinian protests and riots took place today in Gaza and the West Bank, marking Nakba Day, translated as the Day of Catastrophe, how many Palestinians refer to the establishment of the State of Israel. Over 10,000 Palestinians gathered at the Gaza border fence. Rioters threw explosives and rocks at Israeli soldiers who responded with riot control means. Some 60 rioters were said to have been injured. Several incendiary devices from Gaza also sparked fires in southern Israel. Palestinian police tried to keep rioters from getting too close to the border fence as part of the reported ceasefire agreement with Israel. The Times of Israel reported that a senior official of terror group Hamas, Fatih Hamad, addressed Palestinians near the fence today and threatened the slaughter of the Israeli people. Last night, the IDF said they apprehended a Palestinian man that breached the fence and crossed into Israel with a grenade. Protests also took place in Ramallah. And Hamas is suspected of hacking into the live stream of the first round of semifinals of the Eurovision. The Cannes website was interrupted with a video of a fake warning posed as the IDF telling viewers close to the song contest venue in North Tel Aviv to seek shelter from a rocket attack. The video ended with a warning that Israel is not safe, you will see. CEO of the Cannes public broadcaster Eldad Koblenz told Army Radio that the message was soon after removed and its effect was minimal. The television broadcast of the show, which was watched by some 200 million viewers around the world, was unaffected by the hack. The one-year anniversary of the United States' move of its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem was celebrated last night in Jerusalem at an event led by U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman. Meanwhile, the Jerusalem Post reports that the Palestinian Authority said today that it has filed a quote-unquote indictment with the International Court of Justice in The Hague against the U.S. for the move, claiming that it was illegal. Police in Denmark arrested a man today suspected of stabbing a Jewish communal leader in Sweden yesterday. As we reported to you, the woman, said to be in her 60s, was stabbed several times in Helsingborg, sustaining critical injuries, but she is now said to be in stable condition. Swedish police do not believe at this time that the attack was motivated by anti-Semitism, but was rather a random criminal act. Well, more reaction to the statements made by Michigan Congresswoman Teisha Talib. Talib, whose parents are Palestinian immigrants, suggested in a Yahoo News podcast interview last week that her Palestinian ancestors lost their lands and some their lives in the name of trying to provide a safe haven for Jews after the Holocaust, a claim Jewish organizations have firmly rejected. Like the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations, whose leaders Arthur Stark and Malcolm Hoenlein said yesterday, the Arabs in Palestine during the Holocaust did not provide a safe haven for Jews. In fact, they sided with the Axis powers, adding that the authenticity of history is vital. While others now say that Talib's intention was something else. Editor-in-chief of the JTA, Andrew Silo Carroll, noted that Talib later in the Yahoo interview says the situation was forced upon her ancestors. He writes that Talib did not say that Palestinians tried to help Jews, but rather that her ancestors were forced to suffer for the good of another people. Carroll writes, in acknowledging that suffering and noting her own peoples, her remarks are closer in spirit to the anti-Zionist refrain that the Jews escaped the window of a burning house only to land on someone else's head. Senior historian at the Yad Vashem International Institute for Holocaust Research, Robert Rosette, writes of Talib's comments, in this imagined version of history, after the Holocaust, the Jews were awarded a consolation prize, the establishment of Israel, at the expense of those already living there. This, he writes, has no foundation in the historical record. Executive Director of the Bronfman Center for Jewish Student Life at NYU, Rabbi Yehuda Sarna, is set to be the first chief rabbi of the Jewish community of the United Arab Emirates. International Affairs Director for the Anti-Defamation League, David Weinberg, announced the appointment yesterday at an event co-hosted by the ADL and the UAE Embassy on interfaith tolerance. And the ADL is part of a unique soccer match taking place tonight in Massachusetts. The UK's Chelsea Football Club and the New England Revolution are playing an exhibition match at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough in an effort to raise awareness about the rise of anti-Semitism, racism, and other forms of hate. The final whistle on hate is part of Chelsea's ongoing Say No to Anti-Semitism campaign. All of the event's proceeds, including $1 million each pledged by the owners of the two teams, will go to fund projects promoting equality and acceptance at the ADL and other organizations. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, May the 15th. At 7 o'clock, it's From the Aleph Bet. At 7:40, Yehuda Kurtzer of the Shalom Hartman Institute, Einat Wilf of the Washington Institute, and author Moshe Halbertal discuss American Jewry's fight with anti-Semitism at the ADL's 2016 convention. At 8:30, it's Eye on Israel, and at 9, Mark Golub sits down with the first Ethiopian-born Israeli to win Miss Israel, Titi Ena. At 10, it's the 4th annual induction ceremony into the Bronx Jewish Hall of Fame. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Innovation Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, May the 15th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.